You know, as the mayor of the city of Kharkiv, he focused on people. He said that people are the very basis. I recall that when we came to Brussels, Mark Kos asked me, how did you manage in Kiev when it was minus 25? And Russia destroyed totally HDPs.
Without hitting at all. How you manage these people? Я дуже довго думав, як і від...
So I wondered, how should I answer that question? And consider it that back then the mayor of Kiev asked everyone to leave Kiev. I answered, Marta Kos, you know, actually people managed us and not the other way around. Because under such dire circumstances, you cannot tell people to stay. So everyone made their choices back then. And basically, we are socially not fragile. We are unbreakable. Because those who stayed in Ukraine, we know the price we are paying. But however, we are vulnerable, financially speaking. And in this regard, we will need your support, your aid. So what can we reciprocate with? Of course, we came up, developed our resilience plans, and now it is already enhanced, scaled up to the regional level, starting from the communities level. Now it has been approved at the national level, 4 tracks. So energy infrastructure and its defense, so construction projects, how we can protection facilities for energy, critical energy facilities, decentralization of heating systems. We have a huge plan to have 1.5 gigawatt of heating of power plants so that we can survive through the next season. So we will have a decentralized generation systems so that we are not vulnerable and not only have huge power plants. And 4th track, we will have alternatives when it comes to our water supply systems, because the enemy will definitely hit and use it as a target, because these are basically terror attacks. Of course, we need funds and finances. The Ukrainian government has already allocated 1.5 billion euros for this 2026, and we still need 3.5. So we will reiterate that we need these funds. But it's not only to survive through another winter. We need to rethink the critical infrastructure system in Ukraine. It's not about building 1 or 2 cogeneration plants, 10 or 20 megawatts. We need to rethink our critical infrastructure system, to revamp it. And actually, all the heating power plants in Kharkiv have been destroyed, but there was heating provided. Whereas in Kiev, we had a different situation. We have to draw conclusions. So basically, we need to draw conclusions and envisage our future. However, I believe that Ukraine can give back even more. Most importantly, Ukraine can share the thinking about the future. Could you please show on the screen a little bit of some interactive components? Because we've been talking for a while now. So what we understood, lessons learned during the previous winter, that we have to react in another way. So we started new technologies. We are collecting big data so that we understand how our systems can be actually hit. What are the vulnerability points? You can ask Terehov or myself. So basically, when we were under shelling, and it is happening every week, and we have this damage, serious damage. So basically, what we do, we have a small meeting made up of approximately 60 people, key figures for our resilience. And we start looking into what has happened. And actually, it's not the case. It doesn't work. So how we would like to rethink it? Apologies. Well, it should start working. So we had blackout power outages for many times. It is not something new for us. I don't know whether you understand what you should do if you do not have any power or when you do not have any communication whatsoever. I don't know whether you know what you should do when you have no public transportation, no heat. Unfortunately, we do know what we should do. We know the fallout and circumstances. This is the fallout of one of the heating when a power plant was hit and we lost capacity. So resilience is not only about unifying the entire system and so that it is comprehensive. Resilience means a whole cycle, and that's how we see a number of coherent, consistent action, transformation, and we are actually at the transformation stage right now. And I would like to also mention what we envisage for our future. We have taken as an example a couple of different cities. We united, merged the databases, and we will have a system up and running that will allow us in short time after certain shelling to understand what kind of facility was hit by a missile or other. We will know how the system should react, whether it is a nursery and whether this nursery will still be powered by an alternative source and when it will be actually implemented and for how long the power outage is going to happen, etc. So we have all these scenarios that are analyzed based on big data. Furthermore, you need to unite this big data with what our military are doing. I will mention quite briefly, but the mayor of Kharkiv has already done that for me. When he said that it is all about the defense, air defense as well, when it comes to the heating and challenges, well, it's not only about it is also about interceptor drones, so not only about the large-scale air defense systems. And of course, it is extremely important for us that this system should react swiftly. So before, we had 1 month to draw conclusions and then 1 more month to implement that solution. A system that will use new technologies, AI, big data, etc. It helps us to implement changes within 1 week when it comes to protecting critical infrastructure, as well as seamless water supply and, of course, heating and power supply. So that is our aim, the one we want to implement within the next heating season. That's our resilience plan for the next year. And I believe that's going to be our program and plan for the upcoming years. And the mayor of Kharkiv mentioned it, and I believe other mayors would join in. Of course, we wouldn't have wanted to be able to share this experience with you. However, we do have this experience, and we are willing to share this experience with our partners, with our friends. Of course, Ukraine is part of Europe.
Economy raise and economy development. Because of you, dear friends and partners. Thank you very much.